Welcome, low ego action heroes. This is Debbie Levitt from deltacx.com. We're a full service CX and UX consultancy. Have a peek. And this is our usual Tuesday show, Office Hours Ask Me Anything. It's February 1st, 2022. I can't believe that. Can you believe that? I am 2 years in on this pandemic thing. How are you feeling about that? Holy cats. This is where I take your questions live for an hour, and I got 3 questions ahead of time, and you might be wondering, wow, how did someone do that? We've got deltacx.link/ask, and you can ask a question there 24 hours a day. It comes into my email, and I save them up for the big day here on Tuesdays. So that means I've got 3 ready to go, and we'll be getting to them in just a moment. First, of course, I want to thank everybody who is a paid member on the YouTube channel. That is totally optional, but it is certainly appreciated. So if your name's on the screen, special thanks for being a mid-level or senior level low ego action hero. Thanks to the juniors too. And you can join too for as little as $3 a month, and I put the money to good use by buying cheesy stock videos that I turn into overlays like this, because creators deserve to be paid for their cheesy stock videos. And I also buy delicious chocolate chips, which I recommend highly. So I think with all of that business out of the way, let's answer the first question. And it is one of our long story questions, which we do welcome, especially anonymously. A lot of people want to talk about some tough things happening at their jobs and get my advice on it. So sometimes we've got stories. Hi, Udipta. Hope you're feeling well. So let's take a look at this one. I am going to read it out loud. No, you don't have to read that tiny print. Hi, Wilson. Haven't seen Wilson in a while. Hope you're well. It says, hi, Debbie. I joined a startup recently as a UX researcher. There's one more UX researcher, but she's working with buyers, meaning decision makers. I mainly work with end users. Anyway, research culture is pretty new in the company. They don't have any repository, personas, data, etc. When I joined the company, I explained to them that I need proper research tools. For example, use a recruitment tool, transcription tool, repository tool to deliver quality results. 6 months passed by, nothing happened. I decided to deliver something anyway. At the end of the day, I need to show them that I'm doing something because I don't want to get fired. I conducted interviews with 5 people the sales team gave me in 6 months and created 4 personas based on that. But it created friction between me and the other researcher. She told me that I should have consulted her before I shared with everybody else because we haven't had any personas before in the company, so it's important for the first ones to be quality so that it sets the right tone. I agree. But I told her, she wrote, I agree. But I told her I waited for 6 months and I think I did a pretty good job with the resources available to me. It's not that I had access to users and I didn't want to create quality results. The company has been around a year. Nobody created any personas, good or bad. And now I came and initiated something and she's blaming me for not waiting long enough. My product owners were happy with the results. I don't know why she's worried. What do I do here? All right. Long but interesting question. And thanks for taking the time to write that out and ask it. Hi, Siroko. So there's a couple of things going on here. First of all, I don't know from the story whether or not this person is senior to you in any way. So I don't know if this person is a team leader, on paper, or if they're expecting to oversee your work in some way. I don't know if you're equals in title. And it also sounds like this is just a big communication mistake. Now, especially since you agree that you probably should have shown that work to her first, I would probably say it's good to have a conversation with her, and it's probably good to eat some humble pie and apologize and say, hey, look, I'm sorry, we're both new here, and we didn't take the time to set out any collaboration guidelines for ourselves ahead of time. So I just went ahead on a project that covered my side of the street and I didn't think about involving you. I don't know if you're doing projects that involve your side of the street and you're not involving me, but let's find a way to involve each other in each other's projects so that we have a second set of eyes and some other opinions, and just can bounce ideas off each other. So I think, you might want to apologize, but you don't have to over apologize. I mean, you agree that you should have done it and you didn't. So, apologize and just talk to that person about finding a way to work together. If they have changes or improvements to your personas, you can talk to them about that. You can always say to someone, hey, we did a quick round of updates to the personas. Don't fall too much in love with the last ones. Here's a fresher set. And I don't think anything will be harmed. Personas get refreshed from time to time, and you don't owe anybody an explanation. Just say, we took a second look at the data and we wanted to make some updates here. If this person has gigantic changes to the personas, then the questions are either, is there something not quite right that you did with the research? Or is this person taking an approach to personas that isn't the best approach? That part I don't know. Hopefully, if they have changes, they're relatively small. And hopefully you've been watching our micro lessons playlist here on the YouTube channel to get ideas on how to make actionable personas, especially our task analysis personas. So reminder to everybody, if you have a question about the stream, you can go to deltacx.com/links. That's got all of the answers you could dream of. So hopefully that helps. And thanks to the person who asked. And I think if you can set up a way of working with this person in the future, you can avoid times when you felt you should have been involved in her work and times when she thinks she should have been involved in your work. Let's figure that out now and maybe document it. Here's when we're going to work together or consult each other, and here's when we're not. And that's just a good way to go. Team charters. Good thing to go. Good thing to do. Look it up. Team charters. You'll get some ideas there. Alrighty. We got 2 more questions in ahead of time, so I'm going to continue with them. But if you have a question, I am monitoring Twitter, the LinkedIn chat, and the YouTube chat. So you can certainly ask your questions. And the next ones are shorter, but still really good questions. So let's put them up on the screen. There we go. Okay, this question says, hi, I've been working with inclusive design, accessibility, and I wonder if you could recommend sources on how to talk to the LGBTQ+ community. Are there great examples of how companies are addressing this target group? Thanks. Okay, so the first thing that I would do is Google for the APA.org inclusive design document. I don't remember, it was inclusive language guidelines. I think that's what it's called. So first of all, make sure you've read that. That's from the American Psychological Association, and it gives you some guidelines on the best way to use language around LGBTQ+ people, as well as other types of people or labels we might want to put on people. And so that's a good guide to start with. Now, while I consider myself a strong ally to the LGBTQ+ community, I am not part of it, and so I don't want to speak for them. I think another good resource might be if you go into our YouTube channel and you go into the Concentric playlist, which is a conference I've held a couple of times. We had a whole track on that last year. So look for some of the videos with May, M-E-I. They had 4 speakers join, and I think 2 of the recordings are in the playlist. And the third one was about non-neurotypical people. And, but yeah, you might get some ideas there, but ultimately I think you're going to need to find someone who is an expert in that and can help shepherd that for you, because I don't want to claim to be an expert. I can only claim to be someone who also cares about this, but To me, the best way to talk to any community is the way that community wants to be spoken to. And so you have to work with that community to learn what their language is and their preferred terms and their unacceptable terms. And that's really the way to go. So I think you're just going to want to bring more people from various diverse communities, backgrounds, whatever it is, into your research, into your testing, and I think that will help. Maybe you can do a whole generative research project with members of that community and learn more about their tasks and needs and see if there's anything in particular or different that they are needing or expecting from your company. If anybody in the chat room wants to add anything to these questions, you're welcome to give answers too. You know, this is the Debbie Show, but you're invited. So if there's something you want to add, let me know. And I've been talking all day and water doesn't feel like enough, so I'm going to be switching to Chloraseptic, not sponsored. Whew. That feels weak. Alrighty. Let's look at our third question, and then the floor is open. If anybody has questions they want to ask, you can ask them in the chat room, or again, you can ask them anonymously at deltacx.link/ask. I need a vacation. All right, let's paste this one and drop the font a little bit. There we go. Okay. This one says, I work for a big traditional corporation with a design team in-house. I have the feeling that I'm not growing. My line manager is a person who's been working for a number of years in the company. Great people skills, etc., but that person's not a designer, so we don't speak the same language, and that person can't mentor me. The head of the design group is aware, but I think nepotism and the fact that this person has been working at the company for many, many years justifies his or her position. Frustrating. Now, of course, I would love to speak directly right now to your head of design. Chances are you are not going to show this video to your head of design because you just accused them of nepotism, but you could always cut the video here. So, hello, head of design. We need to talk. If you are a head of design with a background, especially in any area of UX design or UX research, then you remember what it was like to come up through corporate jobs and need that support, need your manager's help and guidance and support, need to know that there is a way up in this company, that there are ways for me to grow and improve my craft and move up and get promoted. If my immediate manager does not come from a design or UX background, that can be seen as a concrete wall. That's it. How can I go up from here? And will a manager who doesn't come from my own world recognize when I'm ready to be promoted? Can this manager support me, help me, stand up for me, coach me, teach me, help me grow into the manager they became? Probably not, because they're from somewhere else. Maybe they're from marketing or IT or call centers or visual design or coding or product management. They don't do what I do. They haven't come from where I've come from, but maybe you have. And you remember how important it was to have a great manager. Now, of course, a great manager can be someone with great people skills and makes good decisions and is fair and likable. That's good. That's a start, but that's like the minimum standard. We can't just put anybody as the manager for UX researchers and designers. They really need that continued support from people who know the work. And you run the risk that people who are managed by this non-specialist or person without that background, eventually people quit. You know, you can see this 5 times a day on LinkedIn. You don't quit a job, you quit the manager. And I think that when you give UX practitioners a non-UX manager, someone who doesn't have experience in UX, who, hasn't been there and done that work, you run the risk that you are sending a message you might not want to send. So I would move that manager to whatever their domain of specialty is. If they came from marketing, send them back to marketing. If marketing doesn't want them, let's ask ourselves why. Maybe this person isn't a strong manager. Maybe they're not right for leadership roles at our company. Maybe we have to change things up or let them go. Send them over to their domain and hire in a UX manager who has at least 5, hopefully 7 years doing the work. They will know how to support people and help them grow, recognize where they need help, give them that help, etc. I shouldn't have to tell you this. You should know. But in case you don't, please consider moving that manager around. Maybe they're your buddy. Maybe you've known them a long time. Maybe you know they're a great person. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying they're not the right manager for UX people. And you run the risk of losing good people when they decide they don't want to work for this manager. Maybe send them that part. Good luck. Festus says, good to see you here. To the last question about design for, LGBTQ+, there's a lot of academic literature and studies if you like reading lots of papers. Yeah, that's usually not my first recommendation because I'm always worried that academic studies are, wait for it, academic. And I'm not always sure they're going to get to the true heart of a community, maybe if they were ethnographic. But I would say, while you could certainly Google things about the LGBTQ plus community, I would definitely look for DEI specialists in this area and pay them. Pay them to come in as a consultant. Pay them to come in as a subject matter expert. Please do not find an LGBTQ person at your company or in your world and ask them to explain everything to you. That's not the way to go. So I would recommend bringing in a paid expert. And I see a question is coming in anonymously. Let me pick that one up. Oh, refresh. Should be coming in. Hold on. And you can ask your questions too. We got lots of time left together today, so please ask. Alrighty. Oh, this is a great question. We haven't had this one before. Thanks so much for asking this one. All right. Here we go. Let's put it up on the screen. So here's the old question, and now I'll drop in the new question. There we go. All right. So the question is, how important is LinkedIn to get a job in this field? I'm finishing a master's degree soon, and I would like to find an internship as a UX designer to get more real out-of-university experience. I have a strong dislike for any social network site, but I'm worried that without a profile on LinkedIn, I would dramatically reduce my chances. Okay, super question. So first of all, I found that LinkedIn is kind of a regional thing. There are some countries that are super into LinkedIn and kind of everybody's on it. And there are other countries where I get to people's LinkedIn and they have 3 connections. They're really not using it. So first of all, are you from a country where LinkedIn tends to be utilized heavily and popular? I see this a lot in North America and some other places as well. But, it doesn't mean that where you are, LinkedIn is heavily utilized. So first of all, is it? Second of all, I think you can't go wrong establishing a LinkedIn profile. It's free, and basically you're copying elements from your CV or resume onto LinkedIn so that you kind of have an online resume that people can see anytime. Make sure you fill things out thoroughly. Make sure you're describing the jobs. Make sure you're getting good keywords in there, since sometimes recruiters do searches. And make sure you've put in some good details in there, because it can be used kind of like an online resume or CV. So it might as well be complete and compelling. Now, do you need to hang out on LinkedIn because you don't like social network sites? That's up to you. LinkedIn is absolutely what you make it. So like any other social site, LinkedIn has a feed. And luckily, the feed in my world is mostly good stuff. When I see stuff that is garbage or is too personal or is political or things like that, I just block that person or mute that person or hide that person. And I continually make my feed better and better so that it has the things that interest me. Because here you can, kind of like Facebook, you can be connected to someone, but you can not see their posts. Or sometimes I just disconnect from people if they really look wacko. But I do recommend that as you go to school, that you try to add people on your LinkedIn network as connections. It sounds like it's a social network, but it's really a business network that has social network elements. So think of it as a business networking opportunity. Many of the jobs that I have gotten in the last 5 or so years have come from LinkedIn, directly or indirectly. And so for me, it's something I put a lot of effort into. I definitely post a few times a week. I definitely try to get more followers. I don't add everybody who tries to add me. I probably add a third of the people who try to add me, but it's good to build a network, especially of people you know and want to stay in touch with, because you never know when life circles back and somebody you went to school with says, whoa, I got this great internship and they're looking for another person. Hey, I'm going to send them your LinkedIn. Again, may not happen, could happen. So do I think you're hurting your chances by not having LinkedIn? If you live in a country where LinkedIn is very popular and many people are using it, maybe. But especially I think in a pandemic where we don't have the in-person networking opportunities that we used to, you might as well make the most of LinkedIn. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to get a paid account. They'll try to push one on you. You don't need it. You can just get a regular account and, add some people who interest you and see what they have to say. But I'm not suggesting that you spend heaps of time on there. But check if people are sending you messages, because sometimes recruiters reach out to people once you come up in their keyword searches. So you just want to stay on top of it. I hope that helps. All right. I've got a question from Faye in the chat room. Let me copy and paste that into today's list of questions, and then we'll put that one up. Let's see, did that work? Okay, so Faye says, if I want to make a realistic UX research project and not work with a stakeholder, how can I make sure to set up the prompt well? My idea so far is to make sure I'm trying to improve a KPI. Yeah, so hypothetically, you do need some sort of KPI. You need something that you're shooting for, but ultimately improving a KPI probably doesn't come from research. It probably comes from whatever ends up being designed. If you are just doing research, then to me, the outcome of the research is knowledge, risk identification, risk mitigation, helping other people prioritize their projects, understanding directions we should go in and shouldn't go in. I don't necessarily believe that UX research improves KPIs. So I think the question is, what type of research project were you looking to do? Because it's in my opinion, it's hard for research to improve the KPI. We can present information and data and knowledge that will hopefully inspire others to do the right thing by our users and our customers, plus whatever helps that KPI. But I wouldn't say that's a user researcher's job to improve those KPIs. You're part of a larger process in which that KPI will ultimately possibly be achieved. So since you are looking at sounds like a realistic fake project. Am I getting this correctly? It's a realistic project that's fake. A realistic fake project, I think you just have to set up a question, a problem, an unknown. Company X would like to understand more about why its users do this, don't do this, how they use it now. David says, UX research should focus on, let's put his comment up, problem and opportunity discovery and finding useful solutions. KPIs will evolve from that. Right. So you might have a business KPI at the top of the funnel there, But ultimately, you have to figure out KPIs and OKRs for individual projects. But again, I think that tends to come with the decisions that will be made. You can't say, oh yeah, I did research and that research achieved the KPI. Chances are your research is not going to convert more trial users to paid. It could give the information and knowledge to the team who's going to do the designs that help convert more trial users to paid. And so you should get recognition for that. But I don't think you can directly tie it like that. Faye says, interesting. My question is, Company X would like to improve the user adoption of the product. Okay, so it's a typical conversion metric. So typically you might be researching, and again, I'm guessing because I don't know what type of product it is, why people are, what people are there to do. Because that might tell you why people convert and why they don't convert. So a lot of times companies have these public-facing websites that are made by marketing or sales and marketing or sometimes UX, but usually just marketing. And sometimes these don't do the best job selling. So thing one, you might want to research and audit the public-facing website to see if there's something happening there that is creating a disconnect between people, between the company and their potential customers or users. And then as for adoption, that just means we need more people to use this. So why aren't more people using this? It would be great if you can interview some potential users to see where this product fits into their life, their task, their workflow. Maybe you'll learn, gee, it really doesn't, or it does, but only for this little slice of people when we actually thought it was a bigger group of people. We're really a little more niche than we thought, and that's why we're not getting as many conversions as we thought. It could be anything. So I think that by the end of a good research project, you will know more about what makes users adopt or convert or give your company a try or whatever it is, but you won't necessarily have solved it. You won't necessarily have designed something that's going to improve that attraction or adoption or retention. So that's what I'm thinking about that. David, anything else to add there? Anything I missed? And Faye, again, is this a real project or like a fake sample project to practice? Faye says, thanks. Faye says, yep, I want to be able to, oops, let me put it up. David says, no, you covered it. Thanks, David. Thanks for being here. Faye says, yeah, I want to be able to do something that's useful for the company and share it with them later if they won't work with me to do it. Yeah, and again, sometimes companies don't love seeing some of these fake research projects because I've seen some backlash on Twitter. I don't hang out on Twitter, but sometimes people send me these tweets. And I've sometimes seen that if the company is not looking for this research, it can seem a little bit like, hey, you're fat and ugly and here I fixed it. Because very often you might not totally understand who their target customers are. So maybe you research with the wrong people. You don't understand what some of their KPIs or goals or initiatives or priorities are, and you research something else. You don't conduct research the way they would. And so, they're like, why did you do this? Get out of our stuff. Imagine someone sends me a research project they did to try to tell me why Delta CX isn't getting enough customers. I might either be grateful or I might be like, get out of my stuff. Who are you? Do you even understand who my target customers are? A really nice person I liked today was kind of asking me, and I'm slightly misinterpreting this, but I thought at first she was asking me what types of startups I try to do business with. And I don't try to do business with startups anymore. If they come to me, I'll do the business, but I don't really seek them out. I used to. So someone might say, hey, Deb, here's why I think you're not getting enough business from startups. And I'd be like, kind of don't want that right now. So as I'm my target customer right now. So Faye says, it's realish. I mentioned it to you a month or so ago that I wanted to reach out to a stakeholder. Okay, and then what happened? You're leaving me hanging here. What happened after that? While Faye tells us the rest of the story, remember, this is Office Hours Ask Me Anything, and you are welcome to Ask Me Anything. You can put it in the live chat, which I'm monitoring, or you can drop it into deltacx.link/ask, which is our little online question asking universe, and it'll come into my email. David says, for your specific example, I'm not sure how you make that project fly without real data from their website or conversion funnels. Yeah, we end up making a lot of assumptions about what this company does or what they want or who they want or how they want that or what they see as success criteria. You know, do they have to sign up for a month, for a year? Do they have to sign up for 10 licenses, 1 license? So we end up guessing, and sometimes when we show that to people, they're like, you know, unless they're going to try to look at it from the perspective of, can you do research? Okay, it's like a portfolio piece. But if they're looking at it from the perspective of, was this research valuable to me? It might not be. Faye says, since I'm helping them with brand ambassador work part-time, they reached out to me to get some survey and interview users in the store. I've thought a lot about the company. Yeah, I think that there's positives and negatives here. So a couple of things. If you are working with this company now, then see if they can possibly sanction this at all by giving you some sort of data, like what do you know about the users they want, and do they want to see this research, or are you going to be showing somebody something they don't want? Do they have anybody doing research? Is someone going to feel like you're stepping on their toes? Like, who is this person? I'm doing research. Who's this? And who said this person can work on it? So I would say just be careful when you are doing unsolicited research. I bet David has something to add to that. Prince and Angela, I see your questions. I just want to finish with Faye before we move on. Faye says, I have a lot of observations I've made. I need to do a stakeholder interview to get prioritization, technical constraints, and persona goals. That doesn't sound right. We don't ask stakeholders persona goals. I would ask somebody project goals, but I wouldn't ask them persona goals. So what do you mean by that? Okay, so let's put Prince's question on the list and Angela's question. David makes another point. David says, unsolicited means probably free, and I don't like anybody doing anything for free. You know, David, that's true, but I find that a lot of people still trying to get their first UX job are doing free work in the hopes that they can build up their portfolio and their experience, which reminds me, Faye, who's your mentor? Who is your coach? If you are doing this research and you do it badly, or you're guessing at it because you might still be new, how are you going to know? How are you going to know where you're getting it right or wrong if you don't have a mentor or coach looking at it? So be careful. Somebody from LinkedIn is asking a question, and we will add your question to the list. You are at the bottom of the list. There's 2 questions before yours. Thank you, LinkedIn person. For some reason, my chat system is not giving me your name. Faye, keep me posted on this. If you're in the Slack channel, everybody, you can join our Slack workspace for free. The link is at deltacx.com/links. Come join the community. I'm there answering questions most days. So there you go. Okay, Faye says, when I emailed him, he didn't respond, so I was going to leave it alone. Sorry, I was trying to write this quickly. I said persona goal, but I meant how many people do they want to use it? Yeah, endless. They probably want endless people to use it. I don't know. So again, I would say make sure a mentor or coach is looking over your work, and that way it's helping you level up and do good work, even if this is a fake or realistic fake project. If they're not responding, that's not a great sign. The way it's designed, it excludes some types of people. I don't know if that's on purpose or not. All right, I'm going to move on. If you don't mind, if we have extra time at the end, ask more stuff. Let's put up Prince's question. Okay, Prince says, when is SuperQ most useful to use? Can SupQ be used in usability studies like SUS, for example? Is that too narrow of a use for it? So I happen to be against all of these. I know that's not the answer you were looking for, so you can hang up now if you're not happy to hear that. But I'm against all of these because every time I look at them, I feel like they're too broad, they're not actionable, and they're not even written in normal user-friendly language. I felt that I would need help to use this system. I'm not happy with any of these. So I think if you're happy with them, you can give them a try. But I am secretly working right now on inventing my own. And I am super curious about trying it out this year, which I think I'm going to be trying it out in the coming months. And if it is successful, I will certainly be sharing it. I think it is a better way to try to score and measure user experiences, especially at the task level. A lot of these we give to people when after they've done a whole bunch of things, and then if they give you a score on something, now we've got what? Peak and rule. Are they thinking of the last thing they did? Are they thinking of the best thing they did? Are they thinking of the worst thing they did? So I have to admit, I am not a fan in general of these scoring systems. I think they're asking people some questions in ways that people don't think about their own experience. So I'm sorry, but I don't love them. Okay. Raquel, I see your question. Hi, Bonnie. And let's add to Bonnie's question, which is on the list. So sorry, Bonnie, you are on the list, but we will get to everybody. Raquel, I see yours. And Prince says, that's interesting. Thanks for sharing. I'm wondering what would be the most questions to ask users to intercept. Yeah, I'm working on that right now. I don't have the right answer. I'm iterating and iterating on my own kind of intercept survey idea. I don't love intercept surveys, but I know many companies like to have numeric scores and measurements of things, kind of like the NPS of UX. So I would say press pause and let me get back to you. Yeah, Raquel, I was just going to talk about that. Raquel said, I'm new here. Why is there a cup on the screen? So I've been asked that before and I always forget to mention it. This is the tip jar. It is totally optional, but we do have people who use YouTube super chats or super stickers, or they give a tip and the tip falls into the tip jar. So this is it is the animated tip jar for anybody who gives super chats, super stickers, and donations. Usually the jar stays empty for the whole show. Sometimes somebody puts something in, but it is totally optional. I have a day job. You don't have to throw money at me, but it's always appreciated. Nicholas, I see your question as well. And we will put yours on the bottom after Raquel's. And I think I got, oh yeah, I was going to update Bonnie's question. Okay, hold on. Let's update Bonnie's question. And then we'll look at who is the next question. All right. Okay. Okay. Next question. Where did that come from? That was the person asking the question about speaking English. Here it is, Angela. Okay. Angela's question says, hi, Debbie. I've been hired in a big company in the UX as a UX designer. I know I can do the job, but my English level is low. What advice could you give me to be more efficient? I'm very nervous. Hey, Angela, I get it. I live in Italy and I am still learning Italian, and I would be really nervous if I had to do a job in Italian. My Italian is conversational, but definitely not fluent. And you might be there too. So I think the best thing you can do is like what I'm doing here in Italy is keep practicing. I also have an Italian teacher and I have opportunities to practice Italian with supportive people who will correct me if I say something wrong or strange. And I think that's really the best thing you can do is find ways to practice. I know that the website, years ago I found the website, I think it's called italki, like letter I, TALKI, not sponsored. It was just a website I stumbled on a few years ago. And not only do they have language teachers, but they can also help pair you with other people learning the language or native speakers who you can practice speaking with. So I would say just take all the opportunities you can to practice speaking. And remember, language skills are definitely tough and they're scary and it's going to take you time. But if you know you can do the job, then just remember that. Have that confidence. You know you can do the job. And the language might get in the way sometimes, but you know you can do the job. So just do your best. And I would say just make sure your teammates know that English is not your first language or fourth language or whatever it is. And that you are open to being corrected in a friendly way because you want to improve your English. At least that's how I see it. You know, maybe that works for you too. You mentioned my name because you said my first question doesn't show my name. Yeah, you wrote I'm Bonnie. That's how I knew. But on my chat system, it says LinkedIn user. So I don't know. Angela says, thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Angela. I would answer you in Italian, but I don't know if that would help. So we do have also an anonymous question coming in. I will add you to the bottom of the list, but the list is getting long. All right. So our that question is hitting the bottom of the list, and we will get there. Maybe we have to run a little bit late today and answer everybody's questions. All right, let's see. What is the next question? It looks like it is Bonnie's. Let me copy and paste it on the screen because I can't put LinkedIn questions up on the screen the way we put YouTube questions up on the screen. So give me a moment. I think this was Bonnie's question. Okay. Hey, I just joined the call. Welcome. Oh, that's Russian porn spam, everybody on YouTube. Please do not click on that. I will hide that person from the stream. And I apologize. Obviously, don't copy and paste anything that looks like it could be a URL. I don't know who they think is going to fall for that in this channel of critical thinkers. Oh, all right, let me just get rid of that. Please hold. Okay, there we go. Thanks for your patience. All right, back to our question. How do you begin in CX? I'm looking for training versus a degree. I mostly find UX UI training. I'm not looking to create apps or interfaces. More about CX, internal processes, streamlining improvements, external communications, understanding customers. I'm in state government. And I think we had another question come in like that? Yeah, we have a similar question. So I'm going to reorder the questions so that our next question is the one like it. And then we'll get to Raquel. All right. So, I would say that I haven't taken this training, but I've heard good things about the CCXP training. That's probably what I would recommend for CX, specifically CX without the design side of things. David says, sounds like service design. NNG has a track on that. Yeah, that's another way to go as well. I would say get into service design. A lot of the people I know who get into CX, again, more traditional CX and not the UX side, sometimes they just go for like a course in customer journey mapping, but I personally feel that's not enough. I feel like we haven't done enough if we only mapped the customer journey, even if especially if it didn't come from observational research and interviews. Sometimes I see people just looking at website analytics and running a survey and trying to make a customer journey map. That's not the right way. So I would agree with David, and I would say look at larger training programs. I think, again, CCXP might have some things that could interest you because they have that more holistic view on CX as a company's North Star and how to make improvements in different areas to improve that customer experience, not just bump up a satisfaction score. And also remember that, to me, once you have a customer journey map or task analysis, or which we have some videos on in micro lessons playlist on YouTube, or you have your service blueprint, remember that if you're a really good strategist and you're a good thinker and you're good with possible outcomes and you're good at seeing opportunities, then the next step is usually that future state map. So this is what our customers go through now. Here's where it sucks. And if you're doing service design, here's where it ties into some of our back-end processes or some of our other staff, or here's some interfaces or touch points rather. Here's how it could be. Here's how I see that we can optimize this. And to me, that's some of the power in your own abilities, because anybody could try to do some research. It goes well or it doesn't go well. They make some sort of map. It goes well or it doesn't go well. But what you can turn that into, to me, is really the mark of a strong CX practitioner. Can you look at an existing thing and realize how to streamline it and where to improve things, and which departments are going to be involved? And as David said, you can also look at NNG, which is nngroup.com. They have courses, and you might want to look at things that say service design and service blueprinting. I just did their course on that, and it was not my favorite, but there was a lot of good stuff in it. So I would say take a look at that. Okay, cool. Let's back that up with the next question we got, which was Nicholas in LinkedIn, who had a similar question. So let's put these back to back, because I think we've half answered Nicholas's question, who says, I'm here as a newbie. Well, welcome. Why don't you come on back? We do this every Tuesday. Where did you practice CX? It's not really known or explained compared to UX UI. Do you have any thoughts on Corsair's UX design course? So yeah, I think that we have kind of half answered some of that. Sorry, I've got to delete more spammy things. Obviously, do not click on any of these links or copy paste them. People on YouTube are seeing them. I know the others are not. Coursera's UX design course. To me, it's an absolute no. I have pretty much nothing good to say about it. And in fact, we did an entire show on it here on this channel. You can find it if you go back into the live stream podcasts playlist and just keep going back and back and back. But I think you'll probably find it if you go to YouTube and you search for Delta CX Google course or something like that. Chances are it'll come up because we did an entire show on it, and our opinion is generally quite low. I don't think it's going to make you job ready for UX, and I don't think it's going to teach you anything about the CX side of things. Coursera's UX design course is a big no from me, but unfortunately there isn't a course that I do recommend unless you're looking to get into this more traditional CX work like Bonnie is. Then again, I would say look at CCXP. Okay, hopefully these helped, and I'm going to move on to the next question because we've got a lot of them, and I want to get to Raquel. And thanks to Raquel for coming. We'll put your question up on the big show board here. Hi Raquel. Have you used Maize for user testing? It can be useful, but the participants are only from the USA, and I work for a completely different country with different cultural aspects. Would Maize still be valid? Would you use it? Funny story. I tried to use it, but I only use Axure prototypes. So Maize can't accept Axure prototypes. At least the last time I tried it, they couldn't. And in fact, they so couldn't accept Axure prototypes that when I tried to put my Axure prototype in, it said, we currently do not accept InVision prototypes. And my thought was, holy cats, you don't even know it's an Axure prototype. Ouch, ouch. So I'm not using Maize anyway. For usability testing, I have been using UX Tweak. Oops, let's just quickly say not sponsored. I pay them, they don't pay me. I've been using uxtweak.com. They are based in Europe. So that may or may not match some of your needs. I'm not sure. I think they're just now creating panel services. But what I sometimes do is I get my users from my own database or my own website or social media or our mailing list or usertesting.com or other places. And then I bring them into UX Tweak for that testing, or just a Zoom call if it's going to be moderated. UX Tweak for unmoderated, Zoom for moderated. So I think that you might be able to use Maize, but I don't know how it works because I haven't used it because they couldn't use Axure prototypes. So I don't know if you can find users from somewhere else and then give them a Maize link and have that work for them. Also, if you're in a different country, I don't know whether or not you need this to be in another language. That's another question. So there you go. And Juliana is here. I see your question and I will answer that. I'll put that on the bottom of the list. So I promise we will get to you. Oh, the name of the tool, I'm not sure if I got it right. Sure, let me write it over here. I'm using uxtweak.com. It's a little bit of a weird name. uxtweak.com. Again, not sponsored. They don't pay me. I pay them. I've used them once or twice and I was pretty happy with it. It's a pretty simple interface. It's definitely not super flashy or super modern looking or heavily visually designed, but it's simple and flexible and has a lot of extra features. That's what I like. I like the options to have extra features and turn them on or off as I need. So that's my personal preference. There you go. And we'll add that question to the bottom. All right. Next is, there's the question that came in anonymously. So let's copy paste that on the screen. I think I'm catching up. Is there anybody who asked a question and I didn't answer it other than Juliana, who I'm just hearing from now? Hopefully I got everybody else. So let's take a look here. This one came in anonymously and this one says, "Hi, newish to UX. Welcome. Trying to do case studies to add to my portfolio. How important is it to create studies that are in our area of interest? For example, video games, UX, video game UX, fintech, etc. Oops. Will it be off-putting to companies when they don't see work related to their field, despite being good UX work? I'm a little nervous and unsure how to proceed." Well, look, your UX work is your UX work. You only have the work you've done for the industries you've done it for. And there isn't that much you can do about it. There are some companies who only want people who have previous domain experience. For example, some companies in oil and gas want to make sure you have worked before in oil and gas. They don't want to take the time for you to learn oil and gas or geology. Now, that's their choice, and there isn't going to be much you can do about it unless you happened to have done a project in oil, gas, or geology. Other companies are more flexible, and they know that where the learning curve is reasonable, UX people usually have to come in and quickly get up to speed on all sorts of new domains and new industries. So I would say, to me, it's only important to show projects for a certain industry or domain if it happens to be one of the domains where people are really picky, and they're allowed to be picky. I'm not pooping on them about this stuff. For example, video games. I hear, I don't know for sure, but I hear that many video game companies want people who are super into video games. They're gamers. Maybe they've done some video game work. They probably don't want people like me who don't game and don't have any video game work. So I think that is an area where that would help you. But again, you can only put in your portfolio what you've done. You can't put stuff in you haven't done. So don't drive yourself crazy trying to have a project for every industry, because even that might not work for you. What if they say, gee, you've only done one video game project. We're looking for people who've been doing it for months, years. I don't know. It just seems like something you can't win. And I don't want you to be more nervous and more unsure. You just have to put into your portfolio the projects that you've done. That's it. Tell their stories. Look up episode 54 here on the channel. Just go to YouTube and write Delta CX 54. Give that a watch. All right. We had one more question from Juliana. I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, but hopefully I am close. And it looks like this. Hi, what is the best platform for portfolios? My answer to that is whatever platform lets you create a portfolio that looks great and tells your story. I don't like whenever people say, I'll say, hey, how come I couldn't click on this to enlarge and see your work better? Oh, my platform doesn't allow me to click to enlarge. Then that platform sucks. No, thank you. So to me, perfect. Okay, thanks. So to me, the best platform is the one that has the widgets or flexibility or ability for you to put your own domain on it. So it's Juliana.com or whatever you've bought, and allows you to build the things you need to build. Like I recommend for portfolios accordions, pieces that open and close or expand and contract so that you can keep some things short, but you can add more detail for people like me who like to see more detail about what your process was. HR people don't want to see it. They can keep it closed. I do want to see it. If you pick a platform that doesn't do accordions or doesn't do them well or easily, also, sometimes, what if somebody looks at your portfolio on their phone? If they go, oh yeah, I just got a resume and let's just take a quick look at that. Is there a mobile friendly version of this? I'm not sure that happens a lot, but I do think that having a mobile friendly portfolio shows you cared, shows you know about the importance of making things mobile responsive. Festus says, Debbie, how do you remember exactly which episode to go to? Super memory. Yes, super memory. And I do tend to recommend a lot of the same ones over and over and over, like 54. But I couldn't tell you the other one that I said to look for. That one I don't remember the number of. Now, we do have here on the show, on the YouTube channel, we do have, my boyfriend did a 2-hour show on how to build your portfolio in WordPress. The WordPress.org free version, not the WordPress.com paid version. You don't want the paid version. So you can always look up that. And again, you can always go to YouTube and write Delta CX WordPress, and I'm sure my boyfriend's video will come right up. And it's a 2-hour video where he walks you through how to make different types of modules and layouts so that your portfolio can tell the story you like, and you will know how to maintain it on your own WordPress site with your own .com or whatever type of domain name you might get. So that is a completely free lesson. All the lessons here on the YouTube channel are completely free, which means I bet you know someone who would like this channel. I bet you know someone who could learn from something on this channel. So won't you please think of 3 people and tell them to come check out our videos and hit that subscribe button so that we can grow the audience here. I'm donating all of the ad revenue to charity, so I am not looking to add subscribers to monetize the channel. In fact, it's February 1. I better make a note to myself, donate January's money to charity. So my policy is that I will donate $50 or our ad revenue, whichever is higher. And I think our ad revenue for January was $20. So I've been donating $50, even though I'm bringing in $20. Siroko says, the WordPress show was great. Highly recommend. Thank you. So yeah, go and tell a few people about the Delta CX channel. And of course, every Tuesday I do Office Hours Ask Me Anything. So you can always come by with a question and get it answered for free. We do other shows, other days of the week. So you can go down here. This deltacx.com/links has all of the things you want to know about the stream, including our calendar of events and how to be part of different things we're doing. We do have a giveaway running that's totally free. You just put in your email address. I am not putting you on a mailing list. Usually like every quarter, I pick somebody, sometimes once a month, sometimes once a quarter. I'm getting lazy and I figure out something free to mail to them. So yeah, come and stay and hang out. We try to make it fun and honest around here, with silly effects and lots of opinions, but always help. That's it. If nothing else, you will get help. And of course, empty tip jars for most of the show, and that's totally fine. That's not why we're here. All right, so we are just about out of time. Reminder, tomorrow's show got moved to March, so do not show up tomorrow. I won't be here. I will next be here on Friday doing our usual reaction stream. I'm hoping reaction stream will happen. I think I only have one thing right now. Of course, if you want to send something for reaction stream, deltacx.com/links will help you out there. That's where I react to wacky stuff or good stuff that you've sent in. Let's see. Monday, I've also canceled next Mondays because I'm speaking at a conference. So I will see everybody probably Friday for reaction stream, and then definitely next Tuesday, a week from today. Mark your calendars because it's going to be Office Hours Ask Us Anything with my special guests, Darren Hood and Dr. Nick Fine. And the three of us will be taking your questions, and sometimes we're here for 2 hours taking questions. So sometimes there's a long wait to get your question answered because we're all long-winded, but you will certainly get your question answered. So on that note, I will play us out of here. Everybody be safe and be well. I've got my 3rd shot tomorrow. Fingers crossed that I feel well after it. And great to meet some new people here today. Thanks so much for joining, and I hope to see you here again soon. Catch you soon. Bye. Customer centricity as business intelligence. Visit deltacx.com to learn why we are